In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make synth pop music, kind of in the style of like Sabrina Carpenter's new album and Doja Cat's new album in like the Chappell Roan style. And to do that, I'll break down one of my own original songs called Golden Gate by BushaZ, and I'll break down the song's elements, the sounds of those elements, the mixing, the structure and arrangement, all that jazz. So hopefully by the end of this tutorial, you can make a song in a similar synth pop style to this one. Set the tempo around 110 BPM, start off by making some very powerful synthy chords. These are just 3 easily repeatable chords that just play over and over again in the same pattern, and you're going to be reusing these chords over for the entire song. If you need help creating chords, a good resource that I use on the frequent is chordchord.com, the legacy version. It helps me out a great ton with making chords simple and easy like this. I used a crap ton of presets over here to accomplish this overall synth sound. I used this Rhodes electric piano sound from Flex, this synth preset from Vital from MHA's Volume 3 sound bank, this synth preset from the same sound bank, again this one over here, this one over here, 2 more, we got this one over here, and last but not least, this final synth preset, all from the same sound bank. So as you can hear, a lot of these synth sounds really attack different frequencies and textures. A lot of these focus on the lower ones in the beginning over here, and then the ones near the end focus on the mid to high frequencies and textures of a synth sound, putting in a lot of more basic synths, and putting it all together, it sounds very full, wide, cohesive synth sounding. And for the mixing for these chords, I have this EQ over here that takes out a humongous chunk of the lows, just because we're going to be making a very prominent rolling bass line later, and we don't want these unneeded, messy lows to counteract with that and make it sound all weird in the mix. Go to this preset over here, and we just take the purple and we just drag it all the way over here, just removing all those unnecessary unneeded lows. And then this one over here is just for some damage control. For example, it was peaking over here with a lot of color, so I just kind of toned it down a little bit over here. And then originally this did not have a lot of color on the heat map, so I just pulled it up a little bit just to really balance everything out over here, as you can see. Next, arpeggiate those chords with the piano roll feature in FL Studio. All I did to accomplish this arp is I went up to the wrench up here with the chords and clicked arpeggiate, fooled around with the settings, and I got this over here. The purpose of this arp over here is just to fill up the background and really amplify the mix and the backing sounds. Really makes it feel less dull once you put everything all together in the final result. For the sound, just go for some light, airy, atmospheric synth sounds. I got this one over here from Flex. And for the mixing, you really want to take a lot more of the lows out than we did with the chords, just because this is a really background sound. And any reverb you're hearing is all reverb done in the VST itself, as you can see with these settings over here, and the delay as well. Very reverby, very wet. Next, take the bass notes from those chords and put them into some bass presets. And by the bass notes, I just mean like the root notes of what these chords actually are. So for example, if this is an A chord over here, we're going to have an A for the bass note. And if this is a G chord over here, we're going to have a G note, sorry, for the bass note. And you just take the bass notes as laid out in my chords over here like this, and you put them into a bass sounding something along the lines of like an analog synthy bass that sounds like this. This doesn't seem chopped up because that's not chopped up. This one is a longer note synth bass, and then this one's a more chopped up analog bass. For the sounds of these basses, I have this Reese bass from MHA's Vital Sound Bank Volume 1, and then I have this synth crisp bass from Flex. So this one is where we get that like analog nature and the rhythm of the bass, and then this one is just for some low end support and some synthy background support for the bass. And for the mixing, the only thing I have on here is a Fruity Blood overdrive, nothing done to it, just the preset thrown in here, just to really give some extra punch to this bass, amplify it in the mix, and give some intensity to the like chopped nature as well for it. Not really for distortion, this is a distortion plugin, but it just helps with some amplification overall. Now for the drums. I didn't make this track in the mindset that this would be a tutorial, so I used loops heavily over here. I relied on them pretty heavily, but these are very accessible loops. I got all of these from Splice, and you don't need these exact ones either. You can either just make a drum beat yourself following this same pattern with like similar background elements and stuff. First, I have this drum loop over here. Very 80s forward, very reverby drums with some background percussion. Similarly, I have this one here. It's a lot more stripped back in the percussion and drum realm, but it still fits the vibe and gets the job done. This one is a lot more percussion forward. It has a lot more bongo support, and they all follow the same kind of drum pattern, and that sounds like this. If you were to go in the channel rack right here, it'd be like the like that. So you could just build a small, simple pattern like this and just fill in the elements where necessary if you don't have these drum loops. And in the background over here, I have a synthy hi-hat loop. And last but not least, just to amplify and really give a punch to the kick and snare, I have a kick and snare synth drum loop over here. And all together, the drums sound like this. Sounds very messy on its own because of this one over here, but trust me, in the mix, it will make it stand out a lot more than if it did not have this. And for the mixing, only a Fruity Blood overdrive again, but this time I took the main knob and turned it up a little significant bit right there, just giving it the essence to power through the mix without really making it too distorted or overwhelming or blaring or ugh. Now for some effects, this is where we really get the synth pop vibe over here. I had someone play the electric guitar for me. It's like a little ARP with the electric guitar just to start off the chorus over here. And then in between the two parts of the electric guitar that I had someone play, I found this really cool splice loop that fits well right in between. Is that something I could have made myself in the MIDI? Yes. Did I have the VSTs to match that sound? No. So that's why I just yanked that from Splice over here. And in the context of everything else, it sounds pretty damn cool. From the same pack as the mallet thing over here, I have this background synth. Just really helps to fill up the background in the mix and add some support to the rhythm. I just took the same exact thing over here and I just pitched it up 1 octave. It helps to fill up the mix even more when you add more octaves to it. And then just to start off the chorus, I have a simple downlifter as well. Now for the structure and arrangement of this track. So I'm just showing you the chorus of the song that I made over here. So this is just everything put all together that we made. You have the chords up here, you have the ARP, you have the mallet and guitar effects, you have the bass, both chopped and Reese, you have the background filler effects, and you have the full drum loop over here with the downlifter over here. And after all that, here's the final result.